our energy source, especially sa power business, we are still having a gap in terms of the energy supply. That's why nakikita mo minsan may mga red alerts, yellow alerts, and sometimes it's confusing because you could hear from DOE, wala namang issues sa supply. Pero then the next day may yellow alerts na kasi there's one plant or there's certain plants that are not operating, di ba? So we don't have enough buffer. And that also makes the cost of electricity very high. Kung ikukumpara mo yung price ng kuryente sa Pilipinas against the neighboring countries, we are one of the highest. And if you look at your bill, I think yung generation cost is part of it, but most of what we are paying is yung transmission losses, all that. So which actually gives you a sense na hindi yung infrastructure natin for energy is not that solid, di ba? So there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed. On the overall economic situation, in every country, there is a projection na pataas yung price ng electricity, ng energy in general, di ba? And similar sa Philippines. One of the biggest implications, I guess, for now, as you could feel, yung araw-araw mo siguro nakikita is yung gasolina, di ba? And then maybe monthly mo nararamdaman is yung bill mo sa utility. But on the if you can see in the Philippines, there's now more awareness in terms of EV charging, for example, EV cars. People wanted to shift, kasi medyo namamahala na sa gasolina. So I think one of the things is medyo mas aware na yung local market in terms of energy security. It's a topic that is really close to their heart, and everybody is looking at the impacts of all this, the trade wars, for example, wars in the Middle East, how it would impact the prices here. So overall, I think many different factors. It's hard to pinpoint how things would look like, but one thing is for sure, based on what we have seen and what the historical data that we have seen, pataas yung presyo ng electricity. And that impacts many factors sa Pilipinas, diba? Inflation, cost of everything increases. So it's kind of worrisome in a way. That's why if you visit the event ngayon, if you go there later after this, you will see ang daming tao, and they're becoming more interested to find another source of energy na mas secure sa kanila. And I think that's the reason why we're here. We wanted to offer that solution. We wanted to bring that solution to the local market.
Okay, thank you, sir. Our second question will come from Edwin Salian of Business Mirror.
Hello, good morning. What do you intend to accomplish with your recent rebranding as Integra RE? I mean, as compared to how you were previously positioned.
Yeah. So as you could see, our tagline is trusted energy, and we really believe that it's the right direction for us. Pagka we talk about energy now, medyo maraming how do you say? There's a lot of doubts in terms of supply, in terms of the ecosystem. What we wanted to build is a ecosystem in terms of renewable energy na mas madaling implement. That's why for us, trust is a keyword. When we rebrand Integra, we wanted to be, our vision is to be the trusted energy supplier for the Southeast Asia market. And trusted is a keyword because in the Philippines, let's be honest, medyo madaming in terms of execution, there's a lot of gray areas, loopholes in the process. And minsan that creates mistrust along the process. Diba? So that's why our name Integra is built on integrity, because we operate under that mode. We operate above the law, and we wanted to create an ecosystem that helps not just the end user, pero especially yung mga businesses who wanted to move into renewables, into solar installation, as an example. Because we think it creates positive economic impact.
Thank you, sir. Our next question from Jefferson Fernando of Daily Tribune.
Hello sir, good morning.
morning.
Nabanggit nyo kanina na one of the highest na energy bills dito sa Pilipinas as compared to other countries. Sir, as an expert in this field, so din nyo po saan nila, bakit ba hanggang ngayon maraming nagagalit every time na natatanggap nila yung bill nila? And do you think we're failing pagdating sa pag-disseminate ng information? Pagdating lagi na sa power or sa energy?
Yeah. I wouldn't go into too much details, I guess, in terms of the politics behind it, you know. Pero I would say kung kayang pababain ng ibang bansa yung kuryente nila, we definitely could. And there's some loopholes, I guess, on how we implement the process. One of the things on the solar side, especially, is medyo komplikado yung process ng permitting. So pag nagpa-install ka ng solar sa bahay mo, it's not just that they come in and then they install. They need to go through permitting process. Minsan yung permitting na yon takes a lot of time. But I also give due credit sa government because they're trying to improve. But again, compared to other countries, they've kind of taken out those permission, di ba? Kasi they understand na if we have more solar sa rooftop, it would help us to address the main issue, which is the energy supply. So I think that's one of the challenge in the Philippines. Medyo mahirap yung permitting process, and if we could enable that, I think a lot of people would want to install solar sa bahay nyo, would want to install solar sa businesses nyo, and then we can address the issue holistically.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Before Nikki, we have a question from RJ from Power Philippines.
Good morning po. So just to clarify, Integra RE is a distribution platform, right? That makes it simpler for businesses and residential households to kind of start their installation process.
Correct.
Can you walk us through how exactly you make it easier for them? Are you cutting out tech permissions? Are you, for example, installing the systems yourselves?
Yeah. So we are working more on the supply side. So ang daming you need quite a bit of components to enable installation, di ba? So we integrate all those supply and we supply that sa mga installers. So medyo mas madali yung sourcing sa kanila. And because we are very experienced globally on how to do this, we're able to then qualify materials na mas proven, you know, compared sa I think you can easily source out equipment from China, for example, but the danger on that, and that is something that we see in the Philippines, if we don't have control on the supply, it could also create safety issues which could impact the entire renewable industry. Kasi pag may isang bahay lang dyan na nasunog because of low quality products, it's not just gonna impact that brand, but they're gonna say solar is not safe. So what we're trying to do is trying to standardize that supply. And if you're an installer, ang dami kasing mga air-conditioned installer that are now moving into solar. For example, they don't have much know-how about the technology. So what we're trying to do is to help them na imbes na makipag-usap sila sa madaming suppliers, would train them and then would enable them to execute installation faster. So that's what we do best. And then what we also sometimes do is to work with financing company, banks, because of the reputation we have, sometimes mas komportable sila to loan financing for those installers who source goods from us kasi medyo mas in terms of the brands, in terms of the quality, they're more comfortable working with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, RJ. Our next question from Nikki Wang, Entertainment Editor of Manila Standard.
Hi. Can you describe the current solar adoption in the country? And you mentioned earlier na meron mga hurdle in terms of policy in the Philippines. So, what do you think is needed to fast track, solar adoption in the country?
Yeah. So the first question is, I guess, the current adoption rate. No? If you look at Philippines, and you would for those who has been covering energy business, you would see na ang daming utility, large-scale projects. We're talking about the 300, 500 megawatts, the MTERA gigawatt hours of installation, di ba? So the market is more, at the moment, is more inclined towards the utility scale. Kasi meron ngang energy supply issue, di ba? On the other hand, if you look at other countries, they're already past that utility scaling. They understand that the solar, that renewable itself, is a distributed generation. It's not one big utility project na isusupply and then i-charge lang sa inyo. What they have done is support policy towards rooftop, more rooftop driven. Kasi imagine if you have a house and then you are self-reliant, that means the energy you produce, you consume. Kung ganun yung lahat ng bahay, wala tayong energy issue di ba? So, I think what is, to answer your second question, what might be missing is more of a support on distributed generation. And we know for a fact na medyo mahirap yun kasi if you look at the system, we are buying from a utility, di ba? And this utility, is of course, in a way, making the business because of the charges that they make for us. So, medyo may complexity in that aspect, if you could understand what I mean. But if we have, if the government supports more of the rooftop, that means residential or commercial, then we would be able to bridge the gap in terms of energy supply. Medyo malaking part ng issue yung ganun. I think the policy that should support more distributed generation rather than utility scale projects.
We have a question from John Bueno of Kumagkao.
Oh, sir. I don't know where to start, but okay. First off, I'm aware that there is certainly a power generation problem in the Philippines. Aside from that, of course, the sources of energy that we have is also being we have an energy crisis to start with. Now, with regards to solar and its implementation, where does Integra RE actually go? Because most of the users probably here in the Philippines are residential, of course. And are you only catering to businesses per se, or are you catering to the businesses that would eventually be supplying for those residentials?
Yeah.
Is that what the entity is?
So our business model is B2B. So we only serve businesses. And why is that? Because this is a model that we have seen work in other countries. We don't go retail. Hindi kami nagbebenta per se sa mga bahay-bahay. You know, that's not our business model. But what we do is we support those installers or even sub-distributors on certain location who sells the product that we have. And then what we do on top of it, we support their businesses by giving them trainings, giving them technical support. So to fast track yung implementation nila. So a lot of our customers are installers, some are developers, and we're also not limited sa residential. In fact, majority of our business in the Philippines at the moment is mga commercial industrial, mga factories, for example, plants. We also have a lot of customers in terms of microgrids. Kasi if mahal yung kuryente na binabayaran natin, those people living in the islands na walang grid, mas mahal, halos 5 times ng binabayaran natin because they don't have the right infrastructure and they're still dependent on diesel, genset. So yun yung mga markets so we're trying to address that first. We have a lot of microgrid projects at the moment, but also commercial, but we have seen residential also going up very fast, especially since the Middle East issue started.
Okay, recently, Meralco has been pushing for more policies and regulation with regards to solar. I think the DILG chief responded to that the Filipinos are certainly just adapting to the needs of the regular household.
Yeah.
They want to make the power cheaper, and they're only doing it to survive. Now, how heavily policy is the solar energy sector, and what can the people do in order to make the government accountable for things like that? Do they need to lobby with their own congressmen, with their senators to be able to create laws that would lessen the red tape to be able to avail this?
Yeah.
What can they do?
Unfortunately, solar and renewable itself is driven by government policy still. Not just in the Philippines, but in many countries. Depending on who's in the position, and if they're more in favor of the traditional energy or the renewable energy, that could shift how renewables is executed in certain country, and it's the same in Philippines. If on the ordinary people, I would have to say that they need to explore and to really look at it because on the government side, I don't think there's much we can do in terms of lobbying. But I would start from your household as an example. Kasi people always think, oh, maybe I'll wait until mag-install ako ng solar next year. Hindi ko pa kasi alam. But I could give you an example. If you started installing solar 3 years ago sa bahay nyo, it doesn't matter which capacity. By now, you could be partly getting free electricity. And that installation is meant to stand for, 20 years, 25 years. So, because of the electricity prices sa Philippines na sobrang taas, yung ROI nyo sobrang bilis. Instead of comparing sa other countries, you'd most likely have an ROI of 3 years. With the batteries, maybe a little bit longer. But then imagine the savings you could make could already maybe pay for 1 semester ng anak nyo sa school. So I think that's already a good start. And then to look at, I guess, energy seriously now. Kasi parang sa atin, normal na eh. Every month may dadating na bill, bayaran na lang natin.
Because we don't have any choice.
We don't have any choice. But so to start with, so that's why for me, I think we need to educate and we need to make awareness into an action.
Alright. Having other countries actually do it. In particular, Ireland has some sort of a payment scheme where they encourage each household in their country to put in solar as part of their rooftops. And then they give money in order to make sure that they do, they are encouraged to do that. Can the Philippines actually be in that same way?
Definitely yes. And I will probably not go too far from Philippines. Ireland is of course, the economy, the situation is maybe slightly different than us. But just looking at our neighboring countries like Thailand. So Thailand has recently implemented a scheme wherein if you install solar sa bahay nyo, you would be able to claim that against your income tax. So you get a discount, So now people wanted to install kasi they're incentivized to do it. So the government is trying to support in a different way. That if you install solar, you get something of a tax deduction sa income tax nyo. So which I think is a cleaner version of doing things. And they also implemented permitting is gone as long as you install solar, qualified. But for us, I think what could be done on the government side is number one, standardize the installation. Make it safer. We need to put in standards in terms of installation. We need to certify installers. It should be na hindi lang kung sino-sino pwede mag-install kasi that's too dangerous as well.
Yeah.
If we enable that and then enable government support in terms of withholding taxes, for example, maybe lessen taxes or importation duties for renewable energy, anything that has to do with renewable energy. could spur and could enable us to do something on the household side or on the business side to support the issue. And I think energy security again is a critical topic moving forward. Kasi pag pataas yung presyo, wala ka na magagawa, kailangan mong bayad eh, di ba? But solar, you're able to kind of at least benefit from kung ano yung binayaran mo ngayon, flat na yun for the next 20 years.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you po. Yeah, we have a question from Alisa
Nice
from
meeting you,
IPC 13.
IBC 30. So my question is, how will you urge the public to convert from electricity to solar energy, given that we are in the middle of energy crisis, and many have been complaining about sa mataas na kuryente, and syempre gusto naman natin makatipid. How will you convert them? And kasi many are interested sa solar energy, but installing solar panels can be expensive. So how will you urge them?
So, one of the challenge, I agree, is still financing, di ba? Kasi you have to put out a capex if it's a residential or commercial. But there are many schemes now on the commercial side that enable zero capex, for example. On the household side, there are also some support financially. For example, Pag-ibig allows loans for solar. And I also understand that some banks, because of the mandate for them to support renewable as part of their ESG mandate as well, enables certain loans then to finance solar. So I think financing is getting more mature in terms of the solar installation. I think what is challenging is the ecosystem in terms of installation. Kasi as you mentioned, may interest, pero how do I start? Where do I start, diba? Sino kakausapin ko? And when you talk to someone, you also get this feeling na hindi ko kasi sigurado kung okay yung installation nila. What if may problema, diba? Sino tatawagan ko? So there's a awareness, there's an interest, but to execute it is medyo hindi pa complete yung ecosystem. That's what we're trying to do in Integra, is to enable that ecosystem na sana mas maging madali yung installation. The government support definitely is improving. The financing is also improving. And in fact, the local banks are also very interested to finance and offer loans. Because if you see yung car nga, nagpapaloan ka, di ba? Car depreciates every year. Yung power, if you enable a loan, yung kuryente pataas every year. So why would you not enable loans for energy, di ba? So I think the circle is almost there, but what we're trying to do is to enable and to ensure na sana mas madali yung installation, mas may tiwala yung tao sa supply, sa installer, and then alam nila kung sino yung kakausapin in terms of installation. That's what we're really trying sa Philippines, is to complete that circle in terms of the solar ecosystem.
Yeah, follow-up question. Just recently, nagkaroon tayo ng malawakang brownout. How important solar energy is sa mga ganitong klaseng sitwasyon? Please, can you explain it in layman's terms? Kasi maraming mga nagko-complain, lalo na yung mga mahihirap, can't even pay bills.
Tagalog, sir, para mas masa. Maintindihan ng televiewers.
Yung brownout that we experienced recently, could have been mas madali sanang na-address yun with solar. And one of the biggest thing na nagbago sa solar ngayon, and everybody knows, also with the advent of EV car, medyo bumaba yung presyo ng batteries. Kasi ang dating problema sa solar, may kuryente ka lang pag may araw eh. Paano sa gabi, di ba? Paano pag may bagyo? Walang araw. Pero in the past few months, because of the increase in terms of production ng batteries, bumaba yung price ng battery. So, for instances like that, kung may brownout man, if you have solar tapos may battery, then you're shielded from it. I mean, I give you an example nung Undoy ba yun, I think. Medyo madaming brownouts, but yung mga bahay na may solar, they were still enjoying. Diba? So I think that would really help in terms of having a secure mindset na kahit may brownout, kahit may issue, I'll still be able to continue my life. I'll be able to work from home. May Wi-Fi pa rin ako. I don't need to depend on the supply. So I think it makes you again secured, more shielded from this kind of situation in the long term.
Last question. Paparating na naman yung tag-ulan, and sa Pilipinas hindi isang linggo lang nagtatagal yung effect ng bagyo, long term siya usually. And just curious, paano ba nagtatagal yung sabi niyo po kanina, as long as kahit may bagyo, basta may battery, gaano ba siya katagal mapapakinabangan ng bawat household?
That's where again siguro yung expertise namin, because we have worked in many other countries, could help a lot. Kasi the question that you have maybe is the question also of yung mga bagong installer na hindi pa nila alam paano mag-size ng battery, ano ba yung pinaka-optimal na capacity. That's where we are able to help, where we're able to bridge. So the technology has advanced so much that those questions could be easily addressed. And I think one of the key things is yung design. Design talaga. And then wala namang design na parehas sa bawat bahay kasi bawat bahay siguro iba-iba yung loads, iba yung aircon nyo, iba yung way of usage nyo, di ba? Minsan, there's a family na wala sa bahay sa umaga, sa gabi lang uuwi, and then kaya siya tsaka lang gagamit ng kuryente. So, those kind of load models needs to be considered sa design para ma-adapt yung usage according sa system design. So that's where we are able to help, and that's where siguro yung maitutulong namin in terms of educating the market compared to what we have learned sa ibang bansa. That's something that we could bring sa Pilipinas.